Yo, what's good and welcome to CSC Sports. I'm your boy Jay Howard, and today I want to talk about Albert Pujols. That's right, Albert Pujols for the Angels. You know, Albert Pujols is not the same Albert Pujols he was with the Cardinals. Last year, Albert Pujols had a mediocre season. You know what I mean? He had some injuries. Starting off fresh with a new team, he received $240 million over 10 years. A lot of things changed for Albert Pujols. He's now in the East, and things are kind of starting off kind of rocky if you ask me. Let's check out Albert Pujols' career statistics. Batting average, 324. Home runs, 475. RBIs, 1,436. And on-base percentage, 414. Let's look at the stats from last year. Albert Pujols batted .285 with 30 home runs, 105 RBIs, on-base percentage, 343. Like I said before, he signed with the Angels last year, $240 million over 10 years. And, I mean, he's been in the league for 12 years. You know what I mean? So he's not a spring chicken anymore. But when you look at it, and it's just me, I love baseball. That's something that I can't wait for baseball to come around every April. I live for baseball. And Albert Pujols happened to be one of my greatest players of all time. You know, in my opinion, arguably is the best hitter of all time. You know what I mean? But he's not the same Albert Pujols he was in St. Louis. And I know a lot of you guys out there have been watching and keeping up with Albert Pujols. You can tell, even the last two seasons in St. Louis, he was starting to taper down a little bit with injuries here and there. Batting average dipping down some. And the question I ask you guys, is Albert Pujols starting to break down and pretty much has maxed out? You know what I mean? Like he had this epitome already. He has reached the top. He went the highest he's going to go. And right now he's just a serviceable, good baseball player. You know what I mean? Still going to be an all-star possibly. But is he still the number one guy in baseball? Even when it comes to just home runs? I don't think so. I think Albert Pujols, one thing that can be proven to be deadly with this game is that I think in a postseason, he's a proven guy, one of the greatest postseason guys of all time, if you ask me. What he did in the World Series and in the playoff games leading up to the World Series when they beat Texas showed that he is still a very valuable guy in the playoffs. But when I think about this transition from the NL to the AL, he's not the same Albert Pujols. He's been in the league for 12 years already. So he is starting to break down. And the question you have to ask yourself, you know, that was a guaranteed contract that he signed last year. I mean, they gave him so many extra incentives. He got so much stuff in that contract. Is he going to live up to it? That's what you have to ask yourself. The season just started. He only has 2 RBIs. You don't expect much in the first week of baseball. But I hope Albert Pujols bounce back, and I want to know, do you guys really think that Albert Pujols, like, is he starting to taper away and go downward? Is he starting to have a downward spiral in his career where he just starts to break down every year? It's going to dip. I want to throw something in real quick. I have seen this happen to several athletes in football, baseball, and basketball make transitions, and the transitions lead to their demise. I think about Scottie Pippen. Scottie Pippen was not as popular and as dominant as Albert Pujols is as a baseball player. You know what I mean? Scottie Pippen was a great role player to me. Won a lot of championships, been a great role player. But when this transition came about, going to Houston, his career was pretty much over with. When he signed for the $70 million, it tapered down. Do you think the same thing is going to happen to Albert Pujols? I want to know. I hope not. I'm not throwing the towel in on him because I love Albert Pujols, but sometimes you make that drastic change. It's not drastic. I can't say that's a negative word. We make this huge, humongous change. Sometimes after the 10th or 11th season of your career, it starts to change a little bit. Sometimes for the best, but mainly for the worst. I can name a lot of cases where superstar players changed uniforms and they didn't have the same success. So I want to know what you guys think about Albert Pujols in this season, this year right here. Is he going to bounce back and be like that 335 guy, the 40 homers and 115, 20 RBIs? Let me know what you guys think. Peace, and I'm out from CSC Sports.